So Josh is finally in Clone John era.
Two crazes, half the price.
Double your pleasure, double your fun.
Well, for some of us.
For Aaron, maybe.
There we go.
And I suppose for this episode, like on a long enough timeline, every sci-fi show does Bladerunner.
I've seen things you wouldn't believe.
Crustaceans that can tell if you're lying. Stark being calm.
Weren't you listening about work? Weren't you listening about work? Weren't you listening about work?
All right. Should we get into it?
Yeah. Hi, friends.
Howdy, y'all.
Salutations.
And welcome to Muppet Sex and Trauma. I'm Sara Ezzat. I make the Fat Culture Critic videos on YouTube.
I'm Josh Gosdin. I'm a big old nerd.
And I am Bren the Barbarian, back again.
Is that Bren the Barbarian, the YouTuber?
Yes.
And by the way, Josh and I guested on Ren's channel just recently for their birthday.
Yes, it was so much fun.
We watched the Trouble with Tribbles.
Yes.
I always middle up, which is the Trouble with Tribbles and the Tribbles and Tribulations.
The Trouble with Tribbles.
Tribulations.
The Trouble with Tribbles is the first Tribble. The second Tribble is the Treble Trials and Tribulations. It's a Tribble, Tribbles.
Josh, do you smell toast burning?
Often.
Okay. So yeah, that was really fun. And come check that out if you want more hijinks with the three of us.
We're very hijinky in that particular video.
Yeah.
Well, how could you not be with Kirk being that sassy?
Yeah,
really. And getting balls deep.
Well, indeed.
Furry balls deep.
Even worse.
Kirk and his hairy balls.
It's good to be back.
Big pile of. Oh.
Before we make Josh even more uncomfortable.
I'm just existing, y'all. I had a non-special brownie right before we started, so I'm happy as a clam.
A truth-seeking clam?
No. Not a face hugger. Not a HR Geiger ripoff.
Well, should we get into it?
Let's do it.
Thanks for Sharing was written by Clavon C. Harris. This is his only episode for Farscape, and directed by Ian Barry. This is the first of 2 episodes he does for Farscape. Last episode, our crew found Crais and Talon hurt and unresponsive after some kind of battle. In an attempt to heal Talon, the crew have come to planet Bladerunner to hide in the Bonosphere and acquire some Chromextin, some kind of spacey-wacy spaceship medicine. Negotiations are going well until this douchebag sexually harasses Chiana, and Dargo puts him in his place. Good job, Dargo. Except it turns out this is Prince Douchebag, and they needed his approval to buy the spacey-wacy medicine. Well, Frau. John is also dealing with some fallout from last episode, as he is now John's. 2 of him. Equal and original. One of him asks Jewel to run some DNA tests, and eventually she confirms that they are in fact identical. One of the Johns goes to negotiate directly with Prince Douchebag's daddy, and it seems we've landed in another Shakespeare planet. This time it's King Lear. Prince Douchebag has a sister, Princess Cyberpunk. King Bladerunner is worried that John is trying to take over the planet and so interrogates him with the aid of a lie-detecting crustacean. While that calms his paranoia a bit, he still refuses to sell the Chromexin. On Moya, Crais is awake, and he has a story to tell. Trolling through Aaron's records for obviously non-stalker reasons, he found footage of little Aaron being visited by her mother one night in baby barracks. Aaron's mother, Zalex, told Aaron that she was special because she was conceived in love. That much Aaron herself remembers, but Crais has more. Her mother was disciplined for this meeting, and then he comes to his important point. The ship that attacked Talon? It was a Peacekeeper retrieval squad. And guess who's in command? Back on the planet, John and Dargo are in the bar trying to buy the Chromexin on the black market when John is contacted by Princess Cyberpunk, who invites him for a secret late-night flirting scheme. This meeting is broken up by a goop-induced explosion, which puts this John out of commission. So the other John pitches in for Act 2 of King Lear and the Truth-Seeking Crustacean. Finally, the king decides to sell them the Chromexin, only it's laced with a Leviathan sedative, which hurts Talon. Moya is able to filter out the sedative, but everyone is pissed. And the uninjured John takes Dargo for a final round of King Lear and the kids. This time, the lobster is on Prince Douchebag's head. Although it proves he didn't poison the Chromexin, it does reveal that he's scheming against his daddy, for which the lobster chomps on his brain. John and Dargo head back to Moya, and Kingy turns to his one dutiful child, who promptly kills him and starts firing missiles at the Leviathans. Talon freaks and drops his tethers to Moya, starbursting away, and with the peacekeepers alerted to Moya, she must starburst too, in another direction. And now our crew is divided, and must remain so till they can deal with Aaron's mother's retrieval squad. The two crews adjust to their new reality. Moya will now carry Dargo, Chiana, Jewel, and one of the Johns. Talon has the other John, Aaron, Crace, and the unhappy roommates Stark and Rigel. And on the planet, Princess Cyberpunk transforms into a big red lizard creature to meet an older Sebastian woman in an alley. This is Alex Soon. So, thoughts?
What was the stuff that they called the stuff they were trying to buy? I keep wanting to call it ivermectin.
Chromexin, which maybe it's Leviathan ivermectin.
They give it to their ships and their horses, and it cures galaxy pox. I don't know.
It's some spacey, wacy red dust that does stuff.
When they got to the part where the princess kills her father, I was like, curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. Oh God in heaven.
My one beautiful child. Yoink.
Of course, the question is like, did the real Serova die a long time ago and that xenomorph thing, that red xenomorph, take her over or take over her spot?
I think we're supposed to think that it kills her after the explosion because we see a red arm depositing the goopy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you for connecting those dots for me. I thought that was a Scaran. Like there was another variation on the Scarans that we'd seen before. Is it not a Scaran?
No.
I don't think it would be because it seems subservient to Alex Soon.
That's what I thought made it a very interesting Scaran.
We will learn more about these creatures at one point. It sets up a lot of plot, but it's kind of a messy episode.
I really liked the second H.R. Geiger facehugger interrogation scene with the son. When they were like directly asking the son, like, but did you plant the bomb? And he goes, no. And like, then suddenly it's like, oh no, the daughter blew herself up. What? The daughter is the traitor. Like that was me having that reaction on the couch when I was watching.
It was all a ruse. I absolutely love John. Well, the Johns in this episode because I remember on my first run through this series, just watching John like devolve into like the most deranged, sassy man ever was just such a joy. Especially like, I love him in the first season. He's a sweetheart, but he's very much the straight man. And it's like, you can see like space madness taking him over. You can lie to your daddy, but you can't lie to me.
You've been lying to your daddy, boy, and you know you shouldn't lie to your daddy.
Yeah, that was good. I like the Johns also. I like the metaphors just write themselves, the way that he doesn't trust himself and the way that he doesn't believe himself and all this other stuff. And it was just very tasty writing. I really enjoyed the flavor of the writing in this episode. Very good episode. Very fun.
He does work well with himself.
It makes me wonder. Yeah, I love the scene where like they're kind of like reading each other what they're doing, like even though they're not in the same ship. It does make me wonder if this happened to season 1 John. If season 1 John got cloned, would he be more trustworthy of himself?
I don't know. See, because that's the reason why John doesn't trust himself right now is because he thinks he made a lot of mistakes recently. But in season 1, John didn't know what the hell was going on.
Mm-hmm. Probably would have been nice to have a clone of himself, to have like a twin brother to be like, man, you see this stuff? This is crazy.
Bounce things off of, yeah.
I mean, the season 1 version was the bugs that duplicated them, but it was just the just the surface. So I think we had to get to this point to have 2 fully formed Johns, because then in season 2 we had the 3 Crichtons. We had the 3 versions of John. So this is like a 3-beat on the John duplication, because we had just the surface, then we had the different evolutions in quotes, of course, because like the division into 3, and now we have the doubles, who are 2 fully formed, equal and original.
I think they made a reference to my 3 Crichtons towards the beginning, right? Like or in the opening.
He called back to both. He was like, I've done this before. I mean, I know how this goes. One of them is a clone. He's the clone over there.
Yeah. The whole, like, you're the clone and I'm the original snipey contest thing that they had going throughout the whole thing. It reminded me of, have either of you seen Invincible? It's a very, like, violent superhero cartoon show on Amazon Prime. It's kind of like The Boys a little bit, evil superheroes. But there are these characters named Mauler, these big blue mutant guys who are like super smart, and they like the whole thing is that there's always 2 of them because they clone themselves. And there's a back and forth thing between them where they'll do one-upmanship on each other, basically like, you're the clone and you're inferior. I'm the original. I am superior. That's kind of what it reminded me of. You're a clone and I'm not.
Yeah. And Jewel, I think Jewel does some good work in this episode, but doing like, don't you have twins? Though she does it in the full scientific. Yes, but
you never heard of twins before? This ain't the same, woman. We're the same person.
Yeah, they take a lot of time to make it really clear to us what this is.
Well, they want to make sure that we get it. We understand
it. So you don't think, oh, one of them's going to be a fake one, or one of them's going to be evil or something. And it's like, no, this is the same character, just 2.
They're just now going to be on 2 separate ships. What do you think, Josh, of the new status quo, the 2 ships?
I'm very intrigued, very excited. I think it's gonna be very good. I'm looking forward to John getting to interact with different subsets of the group. Like they divided the group up similarly earlier in the season, and I remember commenting how well planned it was for the ones who played off of each other very well. And so to have a John with each, I think is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm just there's one of my favorite television shows is The West Wing, and there's a point in The West Wing where the main cast gets split up into two primary settings as well, and that I really enjoyed that part of the show, and I'm looking forward to this part of the show because to me it is a very risky television decision, and very much from the Star Trek school of thought, where the producers treated the viewers like morons and made sure that everybody knew and understood everything exactly every single time. And that we got right back to where we started at the end of each episode, splitting up the settings, splitting up the cast, having 2 duplicate Johns. It's refreshing to.
You never want to get too formulaic with a show like serialized like this, because it's like you want to do things to shake up the dynamic every now and then. And I think this is a great way to do it. Like, force them to like work under conditions they've never done before, because they've all come to rely on each other so much. And now it's like, oh, we need Targo to. Oh, Dargo's on the other ship. Oh, we need Erin to. She's on the other ship.
Yeah, I particularly like that we've got 2 odd couples as well. We've got Rigel and Stark, and we've got Jewel and Shiana.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And we've got complementary skill sets too. We got the two fighters split up. So each ship has a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the two, I guess, selfish, conniving ones split up. So Gianna's on one ship and Rigel's on the other ship. So
sadly, we only have one Stark. We only have one eccentric, weird one.
Well, then there's Jewel on the other ship.
We have
Jewel is kind of excitable.
We have like a dozen weirdos.
Yeah, but come on the Stark level, like you say yourself, he's an exposed nerve.
He's Stark raving mad.
And I think that the thing about that is that both Stark and Jewel are characters you want to use sparingly because they are a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
I really like Jewel in this episode, though. Like, I mean, there she is. She's this gorgeous woman standing there in like full fetish gear, but she's not sexualized. She's doing like science stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for Tammy McIntosh to pop up in the opening credits. I keep watching very closely, and it keeps not happening.
Wasn't it sad the first time you watched and like after Zan's death and you noticed, oh, she's not in the credits anymore?
Yes, it was. Ren. Bring it up.
Gone, sorry, but not forgotten.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited for Mommy Dearest. I'm very excited for
Mommy Fascist.
Well, sure. And they definitely picked somebody who kind of sounds like Claudia Black also. Something was a good choice. Or she's doing a Claudia.
I could buy that woman is Claudia Black's mother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very well cast.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the actress like watched some episodes of Farscape and tried to kind of like copy Claudia Black's mannerisms as Aaron to kind of like, solidify that, yes, we are mother and daughter. We have a lot in common.
It seems like it. And the fact that they kicked Talon's ass and Crace is like kind of scared of her gives a lot of weight to her. So here's one other thing that I'm curious about is how many Harveys do we have now?
Yeah.
And obviously I look forward to answering that question on my own as we watch, but I'm curious about that.
That was something I wondered when I first watched this. I was like, oh God, do they both have a Harvey?
We shall see.
Did only one get the Harvey? Do they like share custody? Like they pass them back and forth on weekends? We'll find out.
So yeah, this is an episode of Mommies and Daddies.
It always comes back to that, doesn't it?
So
Damn it, Freud.
What did we think of our King Lear Blade Runner scenario?
I love it. I love the makeup on the people from the planet. So dramatic.
Yeah, they really had fun with the Blade Runner aesthetic.
It's giving drag queen. Those hella cut creases, make it all cat-like.
It reminded me, the family dynamics reminded me of the Maltese Crichton, which I kind of feel like was intended or on purpose because once again they subverted it. In that trilogy, the brother was the duplicitous one, and in this one, the brother was the red herring.
I mean, he was also duplicitous and a shitbag. He's just not
the duplicitous one.
Yeah, just not like murder my own dad duplicitous. Damn.
Yeah.
I'll murder my sister, but not my dad.
He just wasn't the one that planted that explosion.
He might have done it later in the future. He was probably thinking to himself, damn, that was a good idea. I should have thought of that.
Right.
So yeah, we talked about some of the bits and pieces, but I think it's interesting that we do have a reflection of Mommies and Daddies, including Dargo doing a Who's Your Daddy?
Who's your daddy? Dargo, tell him who his daddy is.
I'm your daddy.
Dargo's everybody's daddy.
Sort of, we've got, Machiavellian parental issues in the introduction. I mean, we've been previously introduced to the idea of Aaron's mom, but the actual introduction of her comes with this Machiavellian parental issues. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting way to introduce it. And yeah, the design work is so fun. Like all of the latex in Sydney, it would appear, is on the
it does make me wonder, like a society like the Sebaceans that don't really have family dynamics like that, like is it a society where mommy and daddy issues are non-existent, or where mommy and daddy issues are raging?
I mean, we saw, so thanks to my friend Maldus, we saw that for Craze, at least, it's the latter for sure. I mean, that was a big part of his early motivation as a character. Was
because Craze had family. Like, we
He
know
did.
that.
yeah, and his dad specifically was like, protect your brother. And, of course, he couldn't protect him from a space capsule getting spat out of a wormhole in the middle of a battle.
It also makes me, like, it also has, like, implications about the class system amongst Sebaceans. Like, some people, like Aaron, are just like, I mean, not Aaron, but like Aaron, are popped out just to, like, be cannon fodder. And then some maybe who are higher up the social ladder are maybe do have, like, families and almost semi-normal childhoods.
Yeah, because Aaron is in a baby barracks. They have baby barracks.
Yeah. The baby army
for little kids, that they are like, it doesn't, I mean, I suppose it could be, we could think of it as like a boarding school, but it very clear to me looks like baby barracks.
They're training them to be soldiers. They're child soldiers.
Unquestionably. All right, that's baked into Sebacean culture at this point. I think also one of the things that we've seen with Aaron up until this point is she is basically parenting herself. And I think in like modern, if you've been to therapy vernacular, she's reparenting herself. She's reparenting her inner child, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So it's it is very mommy issues and daddy issues all over the place, especially in the absence of same.
Yeah, in a sense, she's kind of reparent the way that she's parents Talon. Is sort of part of her reparenting journey of herself.
Unquestionably, yeah.
Yeah, I've always thought that was really interesting how, like, with the way Aaron is, you would expect her to be kind of like, Talon doesn't need anybody, he's a ship, but it's like, she treats Talon like a child, like, like she cares for him like a son. And it's like, you wouldn't expect that from Aaron. You wouldn't expect her to be very, like, doting and maternal.
That's also kind of interesting. So from a very nerdy standpoint, I suppose, learning more about Talon as a character, as a ship. I think I was complaining in one of our recent episodes, Sarah, that we didn't really know Talon as a character, and now we're getting the opportunity to do that. Getting the opportunity to spend more time with him, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. There's another mummy and mummy daddy thing is
Moya and Talon.
Talon. They are literally using umbilical cords in this episode. They are reattaching so she can nurture him.
Can I tell you what Talon and Moya remind me of?
What's that?
Okay, so you guys have seen The Last Jedi, I take it.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a moment where they're explaining Kylo Ren's backstory, and they explain that he went to, his uncle Luke to learn the ways of the Force, but Luke sensed darkness in him, and for like a second, he drew his lightsaber and actually considered murdering his own nephew, and that's what essentially drove Kylo Ren to the dark side. It's what solidified it, and that's kind of what their dynamic reminds me of, because it's like when Talon was born, like Moya saw that he was like a weapon ship, and she like had a momentary like freak out, like, oh my god, I gave birth to a monster. And Talon saw that and was like, oh, my mommy hates me. And Moya's like, no, come back, baby, I love you. You just scared me for a sec. And Talon's like, no.
Well, his weapon is what made the birth so traumatic. Yeah. And then of course he fell under the influence of
Grace. It's like, I have a new daddy now. I don't need you.
Yeah.
He accepts me for who I am.
And I think Grace has come a long way since he did the baby napping.
Yeah. But he's still Grace.
Grace.
Still Grace. I guess you could say parents just don't understand.
Hey.
Nope, I don't think anyone has ever been able to understand Talon's identity issues except Aaron. He feels like Crace does, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know if Crace does or not. But yeah, this trying to find a way. So there's that unique connection.
I don't think that Crace doesn't feel for Talon. Like, I don't think he just sees him as like, oh, I can use this to my benefit. I think he does care for Talon in his own way, but I don't think he cares about Talon as much as Aaron does.
Yeah, I definitely think he cares about Talon. It's just his issues are getting issues are different than Aaron's issues. Aaron's issues are helping her bond with the ship.
Is Crace the quintessential narcissistic parent?
I think so.
It's like, I love you, but on my terms. Well,
yeah, that sounds about right. Because it definitely started with, what can you do for me, kid?
I think it was kind of an inevitability that Aaron would at some point wind up on Talon. So I'm glad that we're finally getting to that point.
Same.
Yeah.
But yes, through this means she can take a John with her without John having to leave Moya.
Best of both worlds.
I mean, he's literally having his cake and eating it as well.
But he's also not.
Oh, he's so mad, though. He's like, damn it, that other John got my girl. Think of it this way, John. Who would you rather Aaron be cozying up to? Your clone or Crace? It could be worse. She could be on that ship alone with Crace.
She's never going to cozy up with Crace.
No.
Though, like, hard as he tries, because I was just looking in your records because I was looking in your records.
Just happened to be there. It's just so crazy.
Yeah. Totally not stalker reasons.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I was thinking about, what we've been learning about the Peacekeepers and learning that Xalix was reprimanded for seeing her kid. That gives us a bit more of an understanding about this society and this person. Yeah, and that this is the person they chose to go hunting for the ship, which is named after Aaron's father, the man that she once loved. So it's all very as the uncharted territories turn. It's
diabolical that they're sending this mother after her own child to try and manipulate Aaron. Of course, Aaron's not going to fold, but no, still, it's diabolical.
It was an interesting moment, though, between Aaron and Crace when Crace was, saying, like, she's like you and I used to be. And maybe you have an opportunity to do something about that. Like, that was a very humanizing moment for Crace.
Also rather manipulative.
It can be both. It can be both.
It can be both.
I'm really glad we're getting more into Crace as we go on, because when we finally get to what makes him tick, he's very interesting, very complex. Oh yes, of course. Have you ever noticed how many TV shows come down to like, I have issues about my parents, usually dads, but sometimes moms, but usually dads.
That's because most writers are people, and they're struggling with their own shit.
I know. I'm like, someone needs to check on Eric Kripke. He's written so many characters who have daddy issues.
Eric is not okay.
Same with the guys who did Lost. Every damn character on that show has daddy issues.
No, they are working their shit out.
Yeah, like parental issues are a pretty common human experience. It's just there's an annoying tendency to sort of use parental issues as cut and paste. The same for every character, and especially it's often like Lonnie's made this criticism a lot, especially about the MCU. It's like as if parental issues are the only vulnerability men are allowed to have. So it's interesting to me that we're focusing more on the woman's parental issues. It's Aaron's mommy issues, but it's not. Aaron is kind of it's not the usual mommy issues. She's not like, my mom wants me to get married and is telling me I need to lose weight.
Yeah, it wasn't, my mom didn't love me. The issue is my mom did love me.
Yeah, literally, that's the problem.
And now she's hunting my kid, my ship child thing.
Her own grand ship.
Your own grand ship, Mom, really?
When it's like, this is my birth mom as opposed to my adopted mom, the state. Because
no. The Sebastian state is definitely a father.
Oh no, I was thinking that it's Babylon 5, baby. The core is mother, the core is father. That's the thing. That this episode doesn't have it simultaneously has a lot and doesn't have a lot. I don't know. It's a weird episode because it's very much like we're setting the table.
Yeah. You said it
but
earlier,
we also had to get a story in there. Like
it's a plotty episode.
It's like Doomed in Buffy, you know, it's kind of like it's mostly connective tissue. Like, yeah, there's a bit of a plot, but mostly this is just like setting up dominoes.
Better executed though, because so in my opinion, this episode is not very deep at all. Like there's not a whole lot of symbolism to dig into and unpack and really sink your teeth into. But I was damn entertained the whole episode. Like this was a fun episode. It was a good episode. It was a well constructed episode. It just went like a train, not a subway.
Yeah, and yeah. I watched it on like 1.5 speed, so it felt really, really fast. It was like, whoop, and we're done. It was like, whoa.
I think part of the thing is that John doesn't really care, which means we're not going into depth on anything, but also like John with zero fucks to give is very entertaining.
Yes. Oh my God. He's a liar. That's a big word to throw around, son.
Yeah, walking through a Shakespeare play with zero fucks to give. Like, are you trying to take over my planet? Fuck no. Why do I want to take over your planet?
Yeah, like the Farscape crew's motivation this episode is that they're literally trying to buy something.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my shit and leave. God damn.
I need space paracetamol.
And everybody is treating them like there's some kind of hostile invasion force. And like, no, we're at the store.
Give me space tylenol.
This is like if you plunk down Mad Max into the middle of Othello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't deal with this right now.
And which is why, like, one of the best scenes is I'm done with this shit. Stick a lobster on my head.
Cross my heart, smack me dead. Stick a lobster on my head.
Can I just say the levels of unhinged that Ben Browder was putting out this episode? Very, very attractive. Yum yum. We love a man who's slowly losing his mind.
And the levels of bromance with Dargo too.
Tell him who his daddy is, Dargo. I'm your daddy. That's right.
And then the double act at the end with John and Dargo, where Dargo is trying to be supportive, but also kind of fucking.
I just hope he's taking care of her. Oh, he's taking care of her. That is not what I meant. So unhelpful.
Also, we're in an interesting place in a post-Chiago world where
yes.
Dargo is still defending her honor. But never actually interacts with her. It's very like it's almost like out of obligation rather than out of affection.
She'll always, she's not his girl anymore, but she'll always be his Chiana.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they work together later when they're taking care of John. But in the scene where Prince Douchebag is being that's really creepy.
Yeah, it's not like a man trying to mark his territory. Like, this is my girl, back off. This is like a friend defending another friend.
But without looking her in the eye.
Yeah.
So there's still some subtext there that I really appreciate it.
But also, like, I feel like she is capable of dealing with this shit herself, like with this little shitbag. She doesn't. I don't think she needs Dargo.
No, she doesn't.
That's true.
Him.
And maybe if he had let her alone, they still could have bought the crap.
Rigel's around going, oh, yes.
He poked at a bruise. Still a little tender.
I also like Rigel this episode. This is much more like my favorite version of Rigel. This is much more like the Dominar.
Yeah, he was very capable this episode in like trying to like, reestablish negotiations after Dargo pissed him off. Yeah. I was like, wow, good for you, Rigel. Actually being of help for once.
Yeah, no, this is the thing that Rigel does well. Rigel negotiates.
Yeah. The guy, it was like, do you deny your reputation? He goes, I deny its relevance. We're just trying to buy something from you.
Yeah, he didn't count that he was dealing with completely unreasonable, paranoid,
like, yeah, I've been to prison, so what? I'm trying to buy aspirin here, bitch.
Yeah. We know your reputation. Good. Then sell it to us at a discount.
You have a warship. It's broken. That's why we need the stuff.
Yeah. Hello.
Then we will fuck off.
Good stuff. Really good. I love it when all the cast members get to shine. And it's easy to forget about Rigel because he is just a puppet.
It's a good episode.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's not that deep, but it sets up some good stuff. And it's fun to watch John do his thing.
I'll tell you what, though, I would watch a sitcom where Stark and Rigel have to be roommates.
I think we're about to.
Your side, my side. Your side, my side.
Yeah, that. I love that callback.
I thought it was so cute.
You need the Odd Couple soundtrack to start coming in at that point.
I thought it was so cute when Stark was like freaking out and John was like, "Work now, freak later," and Stark goes, "Work now, freak later. How much later?"
I need a time frame on when I can freak out, please. When he starts doing like the death right or whatever for Talon, and John is like, knock that off. I need the weapons panel off. That was cracking me up. This was a good episode. It was a fun episode.
It was. It had its good points. It was entertaining enough to make up for its flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It didn't need to be that deep. It just is fun.
It's heads sitting lobsters.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying you were missing having some some proper Muppets. Well, we got a Muppet crab head.
We did, and I think I miss the giant spider from season 1.
Yeah, the giant spider is special.
Yeah, but we'll see what else comes up.
Yes, we will definitely have some more fun things coming up.
Oh, yes.
There is a particularly fun one coming up later in the...
Is it the one I'm thinking of?
Quite possibly. There are some fun things to come. So do you have any predictions for what is going to happen here from here?
The Johns are going to have their cake and eat it too. In terms of like he's in a unique position now to basically explore both possibilities of every situation. And I think that's going to be really interesting. Rigel will not stay on his side of the room.
Stealing Stark stuff.
Yeah.
Spawning it.
And those are my only predictions right now.
Okay.
Should I do some false predictions?
Yes.
I'll go for it.
Well, I think that Chris and Aaron are definitely going to be end game. I think they're gonna hook up, and Aaron's going to get pregnant. But then when the baby's born, they're going to find out it's not Trace's baby, it's Talon's baby.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I don't know how that works with genetics, but hey ho, it's a space show.
Very carefully. That's how it works.
Right. Well, we are actually going to take a little break after this episode, a little break for Christmassy time. And then we will be back in January with, are you ready for the name of the episode?
Hit me.
Green-Eyed Monster.
Okay.
And there is something very special about this episode that I can tell you. It is someone's very first episode right in the writing chair. Do you want to guess who is writing the next episode?
Who?
Want to take a stab?
I mean, Quentin Tarantino.
No, it's someone on the cast.
Oh, gotcha.
Ben is going to be in the
Wow.
writing seat.
Ben Browder's right next to them. Oh, hot day. Oh, damn. I'll tell you what.
I'm just imagining a Quentin Tarantino episode of Farscape.
Feet.
Muppet feet.
Is going to be Ben with the pen for
Okay.
Green-Eyed Monster.
I'm digging it.
And that's the one we will be joined by Mandy. Fingers
Yay.
crossed. And before we get to that, we will be having a Christmas episode. We're just planning the day. We are going to be discussing the Christmas classic, It's a Wonderful Life. I make this connection because we now have a Harvey, and Harvey is a Jimmy Stewart movie. So,
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna watch a different Jimmy Stewart movie.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Sarah
So-
just wants to watch It's a Wonderful Life. That's the connection.
I do, and I also want us to talk about it and see all of our terrible impressions, or possibly good impressions.
Where's our kids, Mary?
I'll give you. That's what I'll do, man. I'll give you the moon. Throw a rope around
Merry Christmas, you old savings and loan.
it.
See, you're all doing it before we even get to that.
Right. Save it.
I can't keep it in.
What's your favorite part of this episode?
Oh, hands down, when Erin is watching the video of her mom telling her that she was born out of love. Just, I feel like we say this every episode, but God, Claudia Black's acting just, my God. Give that woman the Australian equivalent of an Emmy or something, because Jesus Christ, she deserves it. I got choked up watching it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mine was Dargo saying,
I'm your daddy.
I'm going with stick a lobster on my head.
I gotta tell you, this one was really good for quotes.
yes.
Yeah, I believe I said, Ren, do you want to come guest for the thanks for sharing? You know, the lobster head one.
Yeah, you did.
That is not exactly the longest discussion today, but it was fun.
It is what it is.
Short and
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
Much like myself.
You're short?
No,
How tall are you?
I'm 6 feet.
Oh, okay.
That is definitely not short.
Josh is sweet but not short, and I am short but not sweet.
We really are chaos today.
I'm tall and sweet.
Sarah's both short and sweet. So
You
short
are.
and sweet like Sara.
You're both short and sweet.
I am short and round.
And that's enough.
Ah,
Eh.
that's why you're here. ¿Qué pasa?
So that is us for Farscape until January. Look for the Christmas episode somewhere around Christmas. And how can the folks find you?
You can find me on YouTube as Ren the Barbarian. I make videos about Star Trek and other pop culture. It's kind of fun.
It's gay. It's gay.
And
it's
it's gay.
Gay.
It's gay as hell. It's gayer than the 4th of July.
Spurky,
Yay.
spurkulous.
I have a project for Christmas right now that I'm considering. I don't know. It might be too wild. But then again, what is there really anything that's too wild for my channel? Well, I don't know if I'm going to do it yet, so I won't talk about it. But anyway, so you can find me on YouTube as Ren the Barbarian. You can also find me on Blue Sky, TikTok, Tumblr, and Instagram. And so come find me if you're interested in any of that.
You can find me floating serenely in my tank of truth. And if you tell one single lie, I'll stab you through the forehead.
And also they can find you on Instagram.
That's true. Too.
I am on YouTube at the Fat Culture Critic. By this point, this comes out, we will have done our annual, at this point, kind of annual YouTubers read the Christmas Carol. So that'll be on the channel if you want to go watch that. We have some fun people coming for that. And it'll be a charity fundraiser for Palestine. I think probably for the Palestinian Children Relief Fund. So you can go in and see the recording of that. Since this will be it, whatever. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at BlueStalkInSara. You can find me on Blue Sky. You can find me in January when we come back with Green-Eyed Monster. Okay, so that is it from us for now. Take care, folks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. I'm not gonna lie though. I mean, Lonnie Tupu, like even with that rubbish beard, he's a little dreamy.
Oh yeah.
He's a good-looking fellow.
Yeah, he is hot, bisexual, whatever. As I don't think it's only Aaron he's interested in.
Polycule.
What is the opposite of a unicorn? What is like a unicorn seeking hunters? I think we may have had this conversation before. he is one thirsty unicorn.
When you find out the term, let me know, because I think that's what I am.
Comment down below for the opposite of unicorn.
Yes. What is a hunting unicorn? I saw the two of your vibes from across the room. And
What do you think? we need Mandy in on this. Somebody get Mandy.
Yeah, you literally got me thinking.
Mandy hopefully will be visiting us in the next episode.
Oh, good. You can ask her then.
Yes.